Faily Loom Fiddleheads. Welcome to Station AOAS. I'm Alondra Leavensworth, back from the holidays to accost you in this new year. Let's begin by looking back. That was a real good look back, but let's do it again in another way. On this date in history, in 1611, the trial begins of Hungarian aristocrat, regarded as the most prolific female serial killer in history, Elizabeth Bathory, for killing and torturing hundreds of young women. Upon conviction, she is sentenced to house arrest for the rest of her life. In 1618, Francis Bacon becomes Lord Chancellor of England. He is separated 5 degrees from Kevin Bacon. Living the dream, clearly. In 1970, farmers sue Max Yasker for $35,000 for damages caused by the Woodstock Festival. What a shame. And in 2004, 8-year-old Jimmy Nelson of Des Moines lost a tooth. He was not compensated by the fairy in charge of dental matters and took his case to the Sealy court. The case is still pending, and Jimmy is missing. On a brighter note, did you know the Ocademy offers a smattering of online courses at no charge? And the best place to start is with the Edifying Omniversal Origins course, offered complimentarily by your local plenipotentiary. Visit the Omni Annex site, linked in the description box, for courses currently available on the interwebs. Keep an eye out, also, for Omni Tidbits, the new info series where we will break down and explain the nearly bajillion programs and aspects of the fantastical Academy of Omniosophical Arts and Sciences that are available in your realm. Right off the bat, you should know the Ocademy, as most call it, is to institutions of learning what the Onion newspaper is to serious journalism. It's all in good fun. No actual tinfoil theorizing going on here. Our information is delivered with tongue either firmly in cheek or sticking out altogether. Future videos will discuss Omni's 3 schools, student starter kits, the Ocademy campus itself, online courses, Omni Tales, visceral theme experiences, subscription gifts, games, entertainment, trips, socializing, philanthropy, fantasy fitness classes, rewards, perks with a Q, faculty, news sources, social outlets, and more. Oh, so much more. Our scriptwriter, whether out of appreciation for my work or that is, as a means of getting out of their own, has invited me to include a feature topic of my choosing in each Omnicast. Today I shall share my thoughts on this word, ladies and gentlemen. It might be backward as you can see it, but the word is kidult. Kidult. A mashup of kid and adult. It was made up by either the CNBC headquarters or somebody that they're quoting. This is the section of the population that made up 1/4 of the toy sales during the holiday season when reported. Now, why would they be writing an article about this? Unless it's a very nice article. It's good for the toy companies. They're not just marketing to the kids or parents buying for kids anymore. Maybe they're marketing to the parents themselves now or other tertiary adults. In fact, the Funko Company makes no bones about always having marketed to adults. Even though kids like some of them, they wouldn't have made an It Funko Pop if it were just for the kids, you know. And these burgeoning sales in the adult population societally mean that it's more acceptable now to buy toys. It's more acceptable for adults to show off what they love. So here's what gets me. If it's so socially acceptable for adults to buy toys, why do we need a new word? Why does this word exist? I'll tell you why that word exists. Not we. Do you see my posters? Do you see this poster? Do you see my art? Do you see this art relating to this poster? To the people who wrote this, I am a kidult. But it's for the people who made up this word to continue to exclude adults. Well, to exclude adults who buy toys from the general adult population. Because otherwise, they would have just said, look how great it is how adults are buying toys. And they do say it. But they have to put these adults who buy toys in a new subset of a population. Why are they doing that? What's wrong with people who are grown up using their grown-up money to buy kid things? It's not as if a child can afford a Grogu Squishmallow on their own. And again, I ask, what is wrong with adults doing things that make them happy? I don't know, Easton. I don't know. There was a story that I read on Tumblr. I forgot to transcribe it to read it verbatim, but I can still summarize it. The person who wrote it was talking with two of their friends who were going through a program to battle their addictions. And one of the problems they were having was that they had so much free time now that they didn't know what to do with, because all of their time before had been dedicated to drinking alcohol, sleeping off the alcohol, getting drugs, sleeping off the drugs, going to work, rinse and repeat. They had all this time that they didn't know what to do with. And so the person said, well, do you have any hobbies? They said, no, those all kind of fell by the wayside. And they said, well, what about the things you never got to do? And they said, well, what do you mean? And the person said, what about the things that you couldn't afford when you were a kid? Or that your parents said no to, even though you really wanted to do those things. And the story ends with one friend going home to buy an Easy Bake Oven online, and the other friend going home to sign themselves up for horseback riding lessons. Are you going to grudge a recovering addict her Easy Bake Oven? Are you going to grudge an adult something they really love? I don't think Groot would like that. I don't like that. And so, moral of the story, let's be nice. Let's let adults do what they do so we can all grow up into a kinder world and not continue to make up words for people who don't fit in. Save the date for Whimsicalidocious Arts' spring fundraiser, to be held, as is apropos, on April Fool's Day. Or is it? Just kidding. The April 1st festivities will take place both online and in person in SoCal. Details are being hammered out as I speak. Now that Pandemania is waning, it's time to return to Love Among the Brambles, the smash hit Fae soap opera that has been on hiatus during the madness. As a refresher on the characters and their conundrums, see the intro video linked below. And now, for today's Straight from the Art segment, I'll read an excerpt from Seasons of Verse. Mother by Kathleen Young. Stoic, unfettered by clothing green, a gray mantle for her last snow. No anticipation of spring, no new budding, no unfurled leaves. Done, but standing, shadows cast her former majesty. Once supple limbs luxuriated under the sun, undulated under fingers of wind, now splintered, shattered, bent, and broken from seasons too many. Young, strong, her majesty symbolized, all being right, safe, solid. Cool shade offered comfort, freely given. Roots held fast, unstoppable. She was strong then, this old spent tree. She was so strong. If you'd like to enjoy more from this compendium, visit the link below. Today's news report is brought to you by the Snowman's Union, Local 726, who are hosting their annual pancake breakfast in Vostok, Antarctica tomorrow at sunup. And want to remind viewers, as always, to keep salt away from the snow children. The phrase of the week for this new year comes from Naturim and is the granddaddy of all Naturim phrases. It is "Cheristezom," a multi-purpose term often used at the end of a conversation. In the people's parlance, English, it translates to, above all, love. This week's featured La Vie Sereine article is from the Immortal Beloveds issue. It's entitled The Roots of Love and is linked in the description box. Today's recipe is for coconut snowballs. Rest assured no snowmen were defiled in the making of this treat. The recipe link should be in the description box below if our admin did her job, which would be a New Year's miracle. And now for the upcoming week's reasons to get out of bed. Old Rock Day, Bubble Bath Day, Play God Day, Bittersweet Chocolate Day, Houseplant Appreciation Day, Peculiar People Day, one for all of us, Learn Your Name in Morse Code Day, Step in a Puddle and Splash Your Friends Day, Feast of Fabulous Wild Men Day, ooh, National Hot Tea Day, probably the drink, not the gossip, or perhaps hot gossip and tea. Both kinds of tea. National Take the Stairs Day. Boo. International Skeptics Day. I don't know about that one. Make Your Dream Come True Day. And National Rubber Ducky Day. That concludes today's Omnicast. For station AOAS, I'm Alondra Leavensworth. Cheristezom.